Hello, so welcome back to a late night creations plus tots plus ramen. I have a non-soup ramen this time, and I have 3 little alligators here. They're all for an upcoming project, the same one basically as I've been creating. And I'm gonna paint them today and maybe create a base where they can be in and put some mud around it to make it seem like they're in their habitat. But first again, I'm gonna eat this. So today, what I thought about talking about whilst painting alligators was just really creativity and the process of creativity and what I am planning basically with this channel. So this channel is really for me to have an output to share all of my work and share my different sort of creations. So if that is stop motion animations, live action films, or just these little miniature projects, these making of videos as well, just a collection of everything. I also have ideas for other projects where I will talk more about certain themes. I have ideas of what to do for them later on, but at this very moment it's very much about putting all my attention into this commission project. I really want to give it my all and create these videos at the same time, just because I would be talking anyway. The only thing that takes a while for these projects is maybe the editing side, but I can do that when I'm not working in general, and like before bed or instead of bed. So yeah, that is the plan. Right now I'm just gonna eat this quickly again and maybe have a little conversation. I'm gonna check when I finish eating just to make sure that there's no like orange thing on my chin again like last time. Okay, so here are my colors. So I have this yellow, these, and so yeah, these are the colors I'm working with. I did sculpt some scales into them as well, so that would be good to give it some shading. Paintbrushes. This big fluffy one, which we're not going to use. So I have like a mini one and a not so mini one, and I think that'll be enough. So the first colors we're going to go in with is, well, let's start with the green, like a grayish washed out greenish. There you go, some yellow, some blue. Blend them in to create some sort of a alligator-ish green, like a very washed out green. Can you see that color? No. Maybe make it a tiny bit darker. So this one I have less of a particular topic that I want to talk about. Okay, this is better. It's like grayish green. We got it. So I'm just going to paint it completely, very messily. And then when it dries a tiny bit, I'm going to go over it with other colors and give it some more shading. So yeah, this whole channel and what I'm doing now is of course in the hopes of just sharing what I create and also creating a place where I put all of my work basically. So yeah, I have lots of ideas coming up, lots of ideas that I want to create for this channel and just for myself, for my portfolio. And I think, well, they will happen, and I will share them here. Right now, it is really just commission projects, and I am so grateful. So grateful for these commission projects. And so pleased that people actually like my work and that they actually want me to contribute to their own art, and that's fantastic. But after this commission project, maybe I will take a break and start doing my own stuff, my own little projects, and see how that goes again, and then open up for commissions afterwards again. Because I love doing these commission projects. It offers you it challenges you, especially. There's the Lamborghini video, challenges you to do things that you wouldn't have thought of doing or even trying, because you wouldn't think that you would be able to do so. But when it's a commission project and you actually do the research and look into how to actually create them, and you see that you could actually do it, and it's just so fulfilling. Then later on I will do a bit more of my things. I have lots of ideas, and yeah, so this conversation of course is not as deep as last time's. So all the crocodiles are painted now in that uniform color, and then after that, now I'm going to add, when they dry a bit, add some lighter detailing along so that all the scales can grasp that color. You take this crocodile and you just gently brush. Yeah, it's working a bit. Gently brush that lighter color over. Like a fish. But it's not, it's an alligator. Sorry, alligator, not crocodile. This whole channel might seem a bit messy at times. There's just all these different things together. They're making up videos, there's stop motion, and now all of a sudden there's all of these sort of videos, and it might not make much sense, or there isn't really like a niche. I suppose stop motion is the niche, but there's just no stop motion videos currently going on because I'm focused on this particular project. But I find, and I don't know if any other artists out there, that it's hard to find your particular niche, your particular thing. When people introduce my work or they talk about my work, it's always, she creates stop motion. And though I love stop motion, and I do continue doing stop motion, I also love to paint. And I also love to create non-stop motion videos as well. And I do want to explore those as well. And I think this particular channel will give me the opportunity to do that. Now all of you people who thought I was just going to do stop motion are going to unsubscribe. But I don't know, I think it's important to do that. And especially now with social media, there's so much pressure to find your niche and to then be able to sell your stuff. Like, I know people who keep testing out different styles and getting stressed over it, and seeing that other people who test those particular styles have indeed succeeded, and that they're not yet. They're fantastic artists. There's no chance to actually experiment. And I think that's such a shame, because that's what we're supposed to do as artists, is experiment with all those different types of styles. I want to make a longer video about this, but for example, Picasso, Roy Lichtenstein from pop art, Georges Braque, they explored so many different art movements in the 20th century to then find their own. And they wouldn't have found their own style, and they wouldn't have been this successful. We wouldn't know their names if they hadn't, experimented and haven't developed their own style. But they did, and they did experiment. And you can see paintings from Picasso that explores pointillism, that explores cubism, that explores just classical painting. Georges Braque as well, before going into cubism, he did also fauvism and all these isms. But that's what people are supposed to do, yet so many people, as soon as they get out of film school, as soon as they get out of art school in general, they have this overwhelming pressure to find their own thing to sell, to get exhibitions, to, gain recognition for their work, and to have their own thesis, their own subject, their own thing, specialization. But it doesn't give you the option then to experiment. And that's what we're going to do on this channel, and that's what I'm going to do, and come along the journey. Discover our own what we like to do or not. And I think that's completely fine. There are so many people who hadn't found their style yet, or again, all those big artists, they didn't just paint. Lots went into sculpture as well, lots also film. We should give ourselves the freedom to do so. Of course, if you want to sell your own art, you do have to go then a certain direction to do it. You have to make prints, or you have to, so if you have to find a particular style to do so. But then at home, when you have actually some time, experiment. If you have time. Maybe you're working so many other jobs. I mean, it's hard. It's difficult to find time. If possible, if you do have some time and you're just sitting in front of your television and you're thinking about doing something, or thinking about creating something, or you're watching this video and you're thinking, I should be creating something, do it. Create with me. That's what I tell myself, and so many times I'm there telling myself off because I think I should be doing something. It's also not very healthy either to be too much the other way, because then it gets too stressed. Lots of people have procrastination, though I do procrastinate. Most of the time, I'm not doing anything because I'm thinking too much about what to do. Lots of people procrastinate and they don't do work or art or create because they don't know what to create. But me instead, I have so many ideas, so many things I want to actually achieve that I get paralyzed and I don't do anything and I don't know what to do. Because there's just so much that I want to do, and then if I'm not doing one thing, then it feels like I'm not giving enough attention to the other. And then that makes me stressed, and I have to start thinking, what's my priority here? And then that still gets me stressed, even if I know that one is my priority. I would think, but wouldn't it be nice to be doing this right now? But of course, I am extremely privileged to have the choice and have the time to actually have time to contemplate things. And so I'm just adding now different textures. Oh, that was still wet. Different spots, different shadings on the crocodiles. Okay, so I pulled up a photo of an alligator now. So one, I'm going to make him a little bit more gray. Maybe like a tiny bit of blue in there. And then the others, we're going to leave them greenish. So yeah, if you are ever stuck and you don't know what to do, and you want to find your own niche and your own style and everything, just know that there's so many. Though you are on the internet and you're looking and you see how many people have found it, and some are so simple and you're like, why didn't I think of that? We're all on our own little path to find out what we want to do. And there is no harm in not having a niche. There's no harm in not having that, at least just yet. it'll come. You can't force it. If you have to sell some prints of work that you're not too proud of at the moment, but that's a way for you to gain income, that's fine. And that's very admirable and fantastic. But if you're so stuck in trying to look at your niche and you're disheartening yourself because of all the influences that you see online, don't be. Like, that's one of the worst things maybe as an artist being online, except, this, other than the criticism and stuff that you might receive, just the comparison of others. And it's not just artists, of course, it's all over the internet. I'm just focusing on art things at the moment. But yeah, definitely don't dishearten yourself. Don't compare yourself to others. We're all on separate paths, and some people who you think have found their particular niche thing, who knows what will happen to them in a couple of years. Maybe they'll find something else. Maybe they'll realize that they don't like what they're doing and they would want to create something new, and you would have maybe found something. Not that you should wish ill on others for them to fail, but yeah, just that we're all on different paths, and loads of artists only found their own path when they were older. Like, I'm bringing up Ray Lichtenstein again, I don't know why, but for example, he only found his own path when he was in his 40s. Not that 40s is old or anything, it's not, but just there's 18-year-olds, people fresh out of university who are already struggling to find how to sell and how to approach the public and what to do. And we're all different for everything, not just in art, for everything. But yet we're so the same. Oh, another discussion to go into. How are we all the same yet all so different? At least a little bit darker. So you won't see too much detail on them either. So don't judge if you think that I could have put a bit more detail in them. I could have. But you won't see it in the film anyway. And that's to, when doing stop motion animations, if you have a time limit, time constraint, if you're not going to see it on camera, it doesn't have to look perfect. Yeah, this will just be a head like floating in underneath. So maybe I will put them in clay. Okay, now they're going to go on a base and underneath them and in between some clay, and then the clay I'm going to make into soil like thing. Soil liquidish. Maybe I'll put some shiny reflection so it looks a bit like, dirty mud swamp thing. And I'll just do that now, and then for the actual video, I'll add more clay and then put like grass things in, make it a bit more like twigs and stuff. Maybe I can put one twig today. Alright, so we're going to put this aside. I'm going to wash the brushes and maybe wash my bowl, and then take out the base and don't waste it. So I'm not sure if I need to repackage whatever was in here, but oh well. So I'm just gonna give it a good paint with black paint first. Now, of course, the paint over there is still wet, but I don't think that should be too much of a problem in the end. So from one of the plants I have, there's some like wood chip things, and I think that they could go really well just like randomly in the set. So just some like log things, just a little bit everywhere. So there you go, this is the final result, at least for now. I might go in later the next day with another coat of paint. I do like the terracotta color that comes through from underneath the brown paint, and there's little cracks. I think it gives it quite a bit of depth. But maybe I will go over it again once more with like a darker color. And maybe go through the alligators also a little bit more. But this is what it looks like for tonight, at least. Thank you very much for joining. Let me know what you think. So thank you very much for joining. And if you want to stick around and join the adventure, I'm happy to have you. So thank you, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.